Yan po ang kaagi, the Philippines, and the first circumnavigation of the world. So, nakita nyo naman po, ano, bago natin simulan, ano, mukhang nandito na rin yung ating guest speaker, no? Yun, ayun na po siya, no? Pero babasahin ko lang yung ilan sa mga comments, ano? Sabi ni Brian Ferrer from the National Museum of the Philippines, I was having goosebumps the whole time. The docu made me even prouder of our heritage, of our humanity. Sabi ni Ronwell Bacani, marami salamat sa napagandang produksyon na ito. Mabuhay pong bumubuo. No? Very outstanding, sabi ni Glendale. Very outstanding, period. No? Yun. Sabi ni Roger Dem Nemenso, tama ba? Oo, tama. Roger Dem Amil Nemenso, pagbati sa mga tao sa likod ng bayani, mabuhay po kayo. Sabi ni Marites po, na hindi po chismosa, ano? Oo. Marites sa babaw, ang pag-uusap at kwentuhan tungkol sa kasaysayan ay kay sarap ulit-ulitin. Hindi nakasasawa. Pagkus may nadadagdag na mahalagang impormasyon at natututuhan. Mabuhay ang kasaysayang Pilipino. Oh, yun. Marami pong salamat sa inyo. Ano? Alam nyo, meron pong I hope that Jonathan do not mind me sharing his private message to me, Jonathan Capulas Balsamo, when he said na, ayun daw, sabi niya, ang ganda daw ng docu. Sabi ko, di ba, uplifting? Sabi niya, yes, correct, naiyak daw siya, lalo na yung transition to the present. Congrats. Palakpakan! Ayun. Ay, nakakapangilabot po. Very comprehensive daw, sabi ni Edgar, ano, Collantes. And where can we access the video? Len Oliano, no? May inaayos lang na ilang technical things para mas maganda yung video. May mga pinadadagdag lang ng kaunti, di ba, Leia at saka Ivy, no? Pero yan po yung may ilalagay natin sa ating YouTube channel, no? Again, I would like to recognize po, ano, itong ating mga magagaling na kasama mula sa Project B Media, no? Nandyan po si Alan Lazaro, Director Editor, Bernadette Chua, Project Manager, Leia Pastore, Producer Writer, Ivy Suset Cosileta Ponce, Producer. At ang kanilang mga videographers, graphic animation, colorist sila si Pete Manabat, and of course, the film scorer, Ian Joseph Tan. Mabuhay! Ayan. Sabi, profound Marcelino. Sabi ni Marcelino, no? Profound information, Marcelino. Profound information, we need this kind of presentation, the classroom discussion to lively engage students in the field of history. Okay, ngayon na po, tatawagin na po. Excited po ako at then very honored. This person is napakabait po, no? At kami minsan nung pumunta ako sa Naga, no? Siya po ay nagbigay sa akin ng kanyang aklat. And of course, talagang very prolific, no? Mas kilala po siya actually, o kilala siya nauna bilang eksperto sa mga pagsusulat ng aklat ukol sa Bicol region. Sa bilang ko po, mga mahigit 20 books na po. Oh? If I'm not mistaken, 24 or 25 books ang kanyang nagawa tungkol sa Bicol region. Iba-ibang bayan, iba-ibang topic po, mga kaibigan. At pwede kong itanong na kay sa ating guest kung ano ang kanyang ilan ba talaga ang aklat niya. Pero siya po ay kilala bilang sumulat, no? And when I first met him, Sir Danny, no, nung 2015 or 2014 if I'm not mistaken, during the graduate diploma in cultural education of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, where you were one of our instructors, no? Ano na 'yon, naisulat niya na 'yon, na meron na siyang mock-up, and I was one of the first one who was able to touch that one of the first drafts, no? And I was so honored to meet him. And siya po ang sumulat ng akdang Ferdinand Magellan, The Armada de Maluco or Maluco and the European Discovery of the Philippines. At siyempre po, no, siyang kinikilala ngayon na isa sa mga pangunahing historiador na eksperto sa Magellan Expedition. Wala pong iba kundi si Sir Danny Madrid Herona. Mabuhay po, mabuhay.
Thank you very much, Professor Xiao, and I'm glad na met tayo ganito, at least even virtually dito sa program na ito.
welcome to the Philippine Historical Association Conference, Sir Danny, ano? Now, ito I will address siguro, una muna siguro tatanungin ko, kumusta po, how did you feel watching the final product of the Bagani, of the Kaagi documentary?
I think I only have one word, impressive.
Wow, wow. Ay, Project V Media, pakinggan yan, impressive daw. Nakakaiyak siya, in fairness, ano? And ang laki po ng role nyo doon sa documentary kasi una talagang eksperto kayo on Magellan. And but I would like to address this siguro first, no? Maganda yung ano kasi you were a lot of us have read Magellan through the translations, 'di ba? Through then we have an impression that there was only one source of the Magellan expedition, and that is the Antonio Pigafetta account. And then, of course, your work proved na hindi pala, no, may iba pang sources. Can you tell us about your process of writing a book about Magellan and the sources that you access po?
Journey for me towards Magellan history. Originally, of course, first encountered Magellan's documents in 1995 when I first went to Spain to start working on my dissertation. Yeah. Ang dissertation more on hermeneutics of power. I was working on the sermones of the late 16th century and early 17th century. So tinitingnan ko doon yung mga documents sa unang-una sa Archivo Franciscano Ibero-Oriental because I'm working on Southern Luzon, Bicol and Southern Luzon area. So I have to go to the Archivo Franciscano Ibero-Oriental because the Southern Luzon territory was actually a Franciscan mission. But then I have to dig also the records of the superior government, colonial government. So I went to the Archivo General de Indias in Seville. And I thought I would finish my work in a year's research. But I realized more doors are open to me. So the next year, 1996, I have to go back to Spain until I realized I've been working on my research for about 10 years before I finished my dissertation. But then, in the course of my writing my dissertation and doing research in these archives from Biblioteca Nacional, Archivo General de Indias, Real Academia de la Historia, Museo Naval.
Wow!
Yeah, merong isang parang accident lang siya that I was working on the manuscripts, binabalik ko yung dokumento on the colonial government dito, yung tinatawag na doon, nung hindi pa na-upload sa Pares, merong tinatawag, ang classification doon sa civil ay yung tinatawag na Section Ecclesiastica Ultramar. So yung Section Ecclesiastica Ultramar is of course the church history outside Spain, yung ultramar. So yung outside, yung sa Amerika at Southeast Asia. Yung tinignan ko, may dokumentong pinaglilinis doon, pinag-a-arrange ng isang archivero. And napaka-kapal ng bundle. When I started looking at this show, yung pala ay Magellan reports.
Wow!
Yung mga yung experience lang to touch the documents that had been touched by the crew of Magellan, isang ibang experience na yun siya.
Wow.
So because of that, I realized I have to go back to Spain, and again after my dissertation, I have to focus on these documents of the Archivo General de Indias. So I thought these are the only documents. But when I went to Madrid, and in the course of my research at the Museo Naval, meron din doon pala siya na mga documents na sinulat ni Martin Fernandez de Navarrete.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, pamili ka nun. Yung mga dokumento sa Archivo General de Indias, marami naman, may mga dokumento na doon na nawala. So hindi na available. But then good enough because Martin Fernandez, who was commissioned by the king at that time to copy the documents of the Archivo General de Indias for the Naval Archives in Madrid, kinopya niya yung mga dokumento doon sa Magellan documents.
Wow.
So therefore, na-preserve yung mga available yung mga documents na wala na ngayon sa Archivo General de Indias sa Museo Naval. And that's how it complemented my understanding of Magellan based on primary documents kept in the Spanish archives.
So, you are a local historian, pero
Yes.
natisod nyo na this is not just of Philippine significance, but of international significance, hindi ba? Kasi,
Yes,
for example, there were previous Magellan biographers, yung isang German na nagpakamatay, no, sumalangit naman kanyang kaluluwa, no, ay nagsulat din about Magellan, and then there are other, but first they are not accessible to us because a lot of them are in foreign languages, in Spanish. And then sa English, iilan lang ang Magellan biographers, no?
Right.
So, yung ginawa nyo talagang hindi lang ho nakatulong sa Pilipino yan, talagang nakatulong din po sa ibang bansa, no? And
Exactly
as
po.
you can see, bakit po may ibang sources? Ano ko lang, no? Tulong na lang sa discussion because actually there are some of the survivors of the Magellan expedition who gave reports, gave interviews to the historians at that time, and that is why, in a way, primary sources din sila.
That's
Of
true.
course, Sir Danny and the historians now, for example, in Portugal, they are sifting to all these documents and looking at siguro yung mga, kasi hindi lahat sila pare-pareho ng memory. Diba?
That's
May
true.
mga ganyang problem. But I have a question. So yung natisod nyo tong documents na to, what year was that? Is it tama ba? 1995?
1995, the start
That
of the
was
document.
that was the time na wala pa hong digital cameras, hindi pa uso-uso yung scan. So I think you have to copy. How did you do this?
That's true. That's very crucial. Yan ang ordeal ng isang historian because
Yes.
talagang nagsasalivate ako sa mga dokumento but I cannot photocopy them all. Kasi
Oh my
very,
God.
very expensive yung document, yung pagbayad ng pag-photocopying ng doon. And you have to remember, I have to work on bundles and bundles and bundles of documents. And nung panahon siya, if you photocopy them, limited lang i-photocopy because it will be sent to you 4 months after.
Oh my goodness.
So, hindi mo makukuha yung dokumento agad. They would ship it to you 4 months after. And kuminsan, it takes a long time kasi doon sa shipping pa, it would take more, kuminsan, it takes you a year to have the document. Kaya ang ginagawa ko, if I can do it with limited resources, I have to copy the documents. Hindi ka pwedeng maggamit ng computer. You just have to, pagpasok mo noon sa Archivo General de Indias, they would give you pencil, not ballpen, pencil and a coupon band. Yun ang gagamitin mo unless you have it photocopied by them. But as I said, it took 4 months or 5 months to reach you. So kaya I have to bring back something. So I have to copy them with pencil in the coupon band that they gave me.
And in 1995, around 1995, you had the draft of the Magellan book, which is not as thick as the one that you produced.
That's
And
right.
when I saw it, that was already in 2014. So ibig
That's
sabihin,
right.
that was already more than a decade of writing.
That's
Wow!
right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because I think ang one problem din siya sa Magellan documents is because there are also fake materials.
Yes.
Take for example siya, when I was working at the Biblioteca Nacional, I saw a document there supposed to be signed by Ferdinand Magellan. It is a document which narrates of his supposed expedition from Lisbon to Southeast Asia. And he gave a description of the various kingdoms along the what you call Portuguese East. And it was supposed to have been signed by Ferdinand Magellan. And in fact, it was earlier discovered. So among few Magellan scholars, they already learned about supposedly the diary of Magellan. It's not actually a diary, but more of a route of the Magellan expedition as early as 1790. And the first one who mentioned of that was Martin Fernandez Navarrete. He says he saw this in a certain chapel in Madrid. And then when I saw it myself, I examined it, but to my dismay, I realized it was actually a sort of a plagiarized document written by Duarte Barbosa, as you probably know, the one who wrote earlier route in Southeast Asia.
Wow. So kasama niya pa rin ang nagsumulat pero sinign niya lang as Magellan, parang gano'n.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Although pero Duarte Barbosa, wow, he was also part of the expedition. Now, the question is, before I get comments and questions from our I don't know kung si Ma'am Gloria nagtataas, but I have to ask you a question kasi ito medyo controversial question ko to kasi when your book came out, and people saw the title, di ba? Ferdinand Magellan, the Armada de Maluco, and the European Discovery of the Philippines. Tapos parang may mga nagsasabi, no? I mean, Danny, honestly, including myself, na bakit ganun si Sir Danny? Di ba? Pinoy siya, ayaw na natin yung discourse na discover lang tayo. Why did he still use it in his book? But apparently, there is a nuance to this term discovery, which you explained recently, and I am very interested about that. And maybe you can talk to us about what discovery, the term discovery in Spanish mean during the time of Magellan?
That's right. Very interesting yan, Xiao. Actually, when I examined all the manuscripts in a way that are available in the archives, you hardly see the word conquista. The word that they generally used was para descubrir or descubrimiento. But why would I adapt the Spanish perspective, the Spanish context, as you have said? But the answer is this, as you have already said, it is a highly nuanced term. Kung i-translate mo ang descubrimiento as and descubrir today as to find something new, and therefore inappropriate yung paggamit ko nun because of course noong panahon there were already people who knew the Philippines, knew this cluster of islands which we now call the Philippines. Of course, the Chinese, the Thais. In fact, when Magellan arrived in Cebu, there were already Thais, there were Chinese traders, and the Filipinos were there. There were Malays, there were Indonesians. But then, iba ang perspective kasi ng 16th century word na descubrimiento. I am adapting the perspective of the Spanish because the official documents I have used were the Spanish documents. And ano ba ang paningin nila noon, Xiao? Yung, if you look at any dictionary and context ng word na descubrimiento, they always refer to finding something, finding actually a territory. It specifically refers to a territory which they would eventually colonize. They use the word conquista because they were always referring to not the Philippines, they not probably know the Philippines, but they were always referring the word descubrimiento in reference to the Especeria, to the Moluccas or the Spice Islands, because the intention is really to colonize the Especeria.
Nakaka-excite, ano? Kaya sabi nga, may nagsabi sa akin, nahahawa ka kay Sir Danny kasi ganadong-ganado si Sir Danny. Ikaw din, ganadong-ganado na. So, pero ang sinasabi dito, maliwanag po mga kaibigan, mga kababayan, sa mga nasa Zoom natin, delegates, PHA, nanonood sa FB, yung palang discovery is not in the Spanish meaning at that time ay hindi lang yung descubrir na matagpuan. Kasi totoo yun, hindi naman nila tayo natagpuan na discover. May kultura na tayo nun. Pero actually, to make it more accurate, yung descubrimiento, which is to discover, is not just discovery na tagpuan. And alam naman natin ito, ginawa nila ito, ginagawa nila to, na kapag nagtagpuan ka nila, itatarget ka nila for colonization kung wala pang may hawak sa'yo. Conquista. So this now, which brings me to another point, kasi Dr. Danny, remember, nung nagkainitan yung mga historians na Spanish historians dito sa Pilipinas, saka yung mga Filipino historians, there was a debate. Diba? Because of the cartoons, yung tinatawag na yung Elcano and Magellan, the first circumnavigation of the world, which by the way, ano lang ito, no? I have to come forward to you. I made actually, they requested the Philippine distributors of this cartoons, nagka-problema sila kasi nakita nga nila yung backlash na, oy, this is a Spanish perspective. So they actually, may lalabas po na when you request them to show the film in their school, a video of mine will appear in the end to give it a Filipino perspective. So, huwag niyo sabihin na nakipag-alyansa na ako sa mga Kastila dahil pinapromote ko yung film, ano? But I saw the need na dapat imbes na tirahin lang natin ang tirahin, nandyan na yung material, they let them watch it because we have freedom of to watch these films. Yung ang Pocahontas, pinapalabas natin, ang daming mali. Yung Anastasia, naku, lalo na, ang dami-daming mali. Pinapalabas natin. Pero maganda, gabayan na lang natin kung paano panonoorin ito. So anyway, nagkaroon nga because of these cartoons, nagkaroon ngayon bigla, no? Of course, babanggitin na natin kasi academic forum naman to. Kaibigan din natin ito, the Spanish historian Jorge Mojarro. He said that yung pagdating ni Magellan dito was not really about colonialism because they were just trading. Ako, ang basa ko naman nung sila ay, kasi I also read, of course in English translation, Magellan documents. Nasa Blair and Robertson din yan, yung Casa de Contratación na parang agreement ni Ferdinand Magellan sa Haring Carlos, no, na siya ay pupunta sa mga lugar na ito, pero yung kita niya na anything na makikita na ma-acquire niya ay may parte si Magellan, may parte ang hari. Yun yung whole pagdating sa Casa de Contratación. So parang ang tingin namin siyempre, colonization pa rin ito. Now, how did you weigh on this debate? No? Ano yung masasabi ninyo doon sa naging punto ni Jorge Mujaro, and then sinagot siya ni Ma'am Lu Bulinaw sa Rappler, no, na UP historian naman. How did you weigh on this debate?
First, I think it's good Xiao na lumabas yan because we have to correct a lot of historical in a way, inaccuracies in some way or misimpressions, I would say. First of all, yung dokumento kasi, yung original, yung primary document, Magellan presented what you call a memorial to
Yes,
Charles.
right.
Yeah, in September, few weeks before the departure of the expedition. And in that memorial, Magellan specifically mentions of the islands he would be targeting. And that is the Spiceria or the Spice Islands or the Moluccas. Sinasabi niyo yun sa hari, ito yung destination natin. And in fact, meron doong isang political statement si Magellan na in a way, parang very, very controversial. Sinabi niya doon siya na, sinasabi ko to sa iyo, Your Majesty, because if ever I die, I am revealing this to you because the Portuguese are going to claim that territory. But I tell you ahead of time, that territory belongs to Spain. Well, bakit ba yun sinabi ni Magellan? Because right. Magellan had been there in the expedition in as early as 1512. Because he was based already in Malacca. He was among the members of the crew of the Albuquerque who conquered Malacca. And they made a certain travel to the east with 3 Portuguese captains and apparently stumbled on the Spice Islands. In fact, Xiao, merong ilang few historians in Europe which in fact explained that particular event of this journey of Magellan to the Spice Islands from Malacca as one of the possible reasons why he and King Manuel of Portugal had a quarrel after a while, which compelled him to change his allegiance. Ang reason daw, because Manuel did not know of that expedition, and these 3 captains were simply by their own accord went to these islands. And at the time, you have to understand the international geopolitics at that time.
Right.
A knowledge of a certain place is a major state secret. And because of the territory, which the Spice Islands, which is being controversial between Portugal and Spain because of the other side of the globe, upon which this, the demarcation line ends, yung area yun ang controversial. Kaya si Magellan directly told the king that you have to you have to assert your territorial control over that particular territory because Portugal will eventually assert it. Yun ang point doon siya na ano yan. Mahalaga. Kaya eventually, colonial ang in some way ang interest ni Magellan, ang ng king.
That's true. And I think I have to also say this, that when you mark it with a cross, di ba? Sa tayo ng cross sa Mazawa, no? Yeah. Ayokong banggitin yung isang lugar kasi baka mademanda tayo. Katulad nyo, no? Oo, katulad nyo. Ay, nako, ako, in a personal capacity, I strongly condemn yung legal harassment to historians who are only doing their job. Sorry, Sir Danny, I have to say this. Huwag ka lang magsasalita, pero alam ko nanalo na kayo. Pero ewan ko kung masasubjudice kayo. Pero no, I mean, it really should be, when historians do their job, diba, tayo mapayapang mga tao, even if we have disagreements, there are times that may naiisip akong disagreement with an opinion, not on the facts, on the opinion of Dr. Herona. Pero in the end, we are friends. Diba? Hindi mo hihahassle yung tao na gumagawa, tapos may mga legal fees yan, may mga appearances, hihahassle mo yung tao, pinarusahan mo yung tao just because of his opinion in academic opinion. I think this is deplorable, and dapat ito'y matigil ang ganitong klaseng harassment. But anyway, whatever it is, no, tignan nyo na lang yan sa internet. But malinis na si Dr. Herona, so okay na yan. Saka si Dr. Torres, whatever. But ito yung siguro kailangan natin makita dito. When we look at this, yung paglalagay ng cross, tapos sasabihin, kapag ka nakita yung cross na yan, lagay nyo yan dyan. Para pag nakita yan ng ibang mga barko, alam nilang sa amin kayo. At kayo ay kakampi namin at pagtatanggol namin kayo. And eventually, sabi kasi ako, there's a historian that I admire, I will not mention his name, na sinabi niya sa akin na hindi naman mahalaga yung hindi naman mahalaga yung 1521. Si Magellan, hindi yan mahalaga. Sabi niya, si Lapu-Lapu ay dumating lang si Magellan at pinatay niya. Tapos, doon ang gagaling ang comment ko doon sa documentary. But when you realize it, and when you read these Magellan documents, which, because of also of the, thank you, Ian Alfonso, no? I became more studious of the Magellan expedition because of you and other friends that we have, na sinabi doon sa mga documents na yung palang ginawa ni na Magellan dito, that also means na minamapa nila. Dahil eventually nga, babalikan nila yan eh. And then yung naging politika nung tungkol sa yung demarcation line na tinatawag natin. 'Di ba? Kailangan kasi makita natin na yung demarcation line, alam ng mga tao na bilog ang mundo eh. Hindi naman totoong hindi naman nila alam yun eh. So, ang pinagtatalunan doon, yung dulo ng demarcation line, oo, yung Malacca sa Portugal yan. Yung area na Molucca sa Portugal yan. Pero pwede natin i-claim yun. Sasabihin natin sa mapa na hindi, di sa kabila yung Philippines. Kaya yun yung naging Pilipinas. So yun yung sinasabi. At yun nga, sinasabi niyo Dr. Danny na sinasabi ni Magellan sa King of Spain, yung Malacca na yan, yung Molucca, Molucas. Hindi yung Malacca. Magkaibang lugar yun ha. Ako dati confused din eh. Yung Malacca sa bandang Malaysia yon, yung Enrique de Malacca galing siya doon. Yung Molucas nasa Indonesia, yung Tidor, di ba? Actually, Sir Danny, ngayon yung last day ni na Magellan halos itong panahon na ito noon. Going to Tidor na sila. So, pagka minamapa nila yan, sabi nila, sa Spanya yan. Eventually, na-resolve po yan, Doc Danny, di ba? Nagsabi ang Papa na pag hinati ulit yung demarcation line, kasi yung isang demarcation line sa Brazil. Ito naman, dito, pagka Southeast Asia, pag hinati mo, yung Pilipinas sa kabila yan. Yung mga Portuguese territories, mananatili sa kanila yan. So, yun doon nila na figure out. Now, siguro, ayan, kumuha lang tayo ng iba pang mga comments. Sabi ni Glendale, grateful to have a copy, Glendale Jango, grateful to have a copy of Dr. Verona's book, still using it as my source book. Ayan. Edgar B. Collantes, pwede ba makahingi ng copy ng documentary na yan? Opo. Sa YouTube po ng National Quincentennial Committee, ipapalabas po yan. Pagka yung na final version. Kasi ito parang draft version ito, patikim. Pero tandaan nyo, pwede nyo pa rin ipapanood to. In fact, pwede nyo rin ipapanood yung aming discussion ni Sir Danny. Di ba? Para nakikinig mismo kayo. Imagine niyo Sir Danny, hindi natin naisip nung binisita ko kayo sa Naga around a few years ago, na eventually, people will be actually learning from you directly. Diba? Can you tell us about your YouTube channel? May YouTube channel po kayo, di ba? Para mas marami pang makinig sa inyong mga lectures.
Yeah, yung YouTube channel siya, although for the moment medyo na-suspend namin yan because medyo other commitments, pero we will continue that. We have started series of major historical aspects ng Philippine history natin. Iba-ibang sabi nating mga issues that need clarification based on primary documents. So ang talagang advocacy ko dyan siya is to present archival documents which are not actually easily available for Filipino students. So yan ang ko dyan.
Ano yan eh, parang public service yan eh, yung ganyang advocacy, ano?
Yeah.
Opo. Naku, alam nyo, nakakaproblema kasi ako dito sa Facebook dahil kapag nilagay ka, gusto ko sanang basahin kung may mga questions. Pero pag yung comments ay pinundot ko, ang lumalabas ay yung current comments at hindi lahat. So, sabi ni Cogen Adik Cruz, when will we do another webinar, Prof. Danny? Kaibigan nyo to. Oo. Thank you po sa lahat ng bumabati. We have 170 active watchers. Sa NCCA, mayroon pala tayong NCCA din, no? Binabati ko po si Sir Nick Pichay. Congratulations po sa inyong play, yung sinulat ninyo, Lapu-Lapu ang Dato ng Mactan. Very successful. There are 12,000 active watchers. Of course, yung team din ni Dexter Santos, director, and all the actors, no? Sina Arman Ferrer, thank you so much, no? Galing-galing ninyo, no? Lahat po ng mga actors natin and lahat ng mga naging bahagi ng Metropolitan Theater production ng Lapu-Lapu ang Dato ng Mactan. Congratulations. Pinabasa po sa akin, ito yung mga ginagawa ng public historian, ano? Lumalabas sa TV, nagle-lecture sa webinar, nagbabasa ng script, no? Para itama yung mga... So, yeah, public history, Sir Danny. Sir Danny, kasi you were a local historian, you're teaching in Partido State University, if I'm not mistaken. And you are also, you're an academic. Pero ito, recently, you are going public, 'di ba? How important it is to actually directly give history to the people. Yan, yung public history na tinatawag o kasaysayang pangmadla. You're now involved in it. How does it feel and how is it important that historians actually engage the public?
Well, one thing, Xiao, I think earlier on yung mga historians parang nasa pedestal sila. They always sit on the parang pedestal na parang unreachable, and therefore they only release whatever findings they have in an academic forum na accessible ng fellow scholars din. So I think may importante yung actually yung initiative mo siya. I think that's a very, very inspiring one because you bring down to the level ng ordinaryong tao yung kalaman ng kasaysayan na parang ang kasaysayan ba is parang pedantic na discipline na it's only supposed to be acquired by those who have degrees, PhDs, MAs, and we keep on talking about that among ourselves, and for that reason nako-confine lang sa mga highly educated na tao. At yung mga taong dapat na magkaroon ng walang access dito. And I think that's the work of a public historian to bring them down to the level of the ordinary people so that we can, in the same way, we can get involved in the process of social importansya ng public historian and of bringing history right into the doorstep ng ordinaryong tao.
Tama yun, ano? That's why yan, yung documentaries. Diba? That's one way of doing it. But I also want to credit po, no, Sir Danny, si Dean Gloria Santos. Remember, so si Dean Gloria Santos, we remember po Dean Gloria Santos, she was the former executive director of the Philippine Historical Association, manang gloria to a lot of people. We love her, naabutan ko pa siya as board member. Naging board member ako, nasa board pa rin siya. At that time, she was in her late 80s. She was very, very wonderful. And there was a lecture that she gave. It says, we should bring history closer to the people. Yan yung gawain ng public history. We bring history closer, nilalapit natin ang kasaysayan. Actually, that the PHA, the Philippine, even before Xiao Chua, even before Ambeto Campo is doing, and Danny Herona is doing public history, the Philippine Historical Association has been doing public history, engaging also politicians. Yan po ang work natin dito sa bansang ito, 'di ba? So, sir, babatiin ko lang ko Loncio Catolos mula sa Tanay Rizal, John Francis Ortiz, Ma'am Kabanatuan, Pilamer Kabuhat, Darwin De Los Santos, my mother Vilma Biones Chua who's watching now. Syempre ang girlfriend ko si Noela Orozco. But I also have to wala na po tayo. Ito may Q&A, may question. Ayan. Giovanni Putong, thank you for your question. No, based on your research and travel abroad, particularly Magellan Elcanos expedition and in the first circumnavigation of the world, on the primary documents written on Spanish lens, what personal evaluation of Spain to our ancestor on the 16th century in their culture? Is it positive impact or the other way around, since the discovery was intentional to occupy territories? Is it, sandali nawawala si Dr. Danya, no? Another question, sir, before you ask sige po, ask niyo muna yung answer the first question muna. The yung personal evaluation.
Can you repeat the first question siya? Medyo
napuputol tayo. Okay. Based on your research and travel abroad, particularly Magellan Elcanos expedition and in the first circumnavigation of the world, on the primary documents written on the Spanish lens, what personal evaluation of Spain about our ancestors on 16th century in their culture? Is it positive impact or the other way around, since the discovery was intentional to occupy territory? So basically, siguro para maayos yung tanong ng kaunti, maganda ba yung pagtingin ng mga Europeans sa kulturang natin na mga katutubo dito sa Pilipinas based on how they wrote their articles? Kasi daw sabi niya, yung Antonio Pigafetta's document promoted continuous exploration in Asia, or did it promote continuous exploration in Asia? He was then hailed in Spain and even the Queen Regent in France. Thank you, sir. Opo.
Okay. So, unang-una, it's very, very clear in the records, at least aside from the Pigafetta source, because of course, Pigafetta has always been a standard source for Magellan expedition. But there are others who wrote their eyewitness accounts, which were not actually at the forefront ng ating historical consciousness of the Magellan expedition. But some of them, in fact, for example, Gines de Mapra, gave an impression that Magellan seemed to be very, very impressed with Cebu, with the Philippines, with the kindness of the people in Samar, because of this idea of the hospitality of the people there. In fact, there were some intimations that Magellan was interested in possessing several islands in the Philippines. As you have pointed out earlier, Siya, that's right. Na in the contract between Charles and Magellan, Charles was to receive 2 other islands beyond the 6 islands that he would be discovering and colonizing for Spain. So doon sa record ni de Mapra, parang he was intimating, he was suggesting that Magellan was interested to take possession as one of these islands, yung Cebu. Kasi he was so fascinated by the culture of the people, the wealth of the area. So isang bagay yun. Yun ang mga hints na nakita natin that the Spaniards seem to have developed a more positive attitude towards resources on the Magellan expedition. But then, yung post-Magellan expedition siya would tell us how the Philippines left a deep impression on Spain. The reason is because of the fact that it left a deep impression on the Spaniards. Because of the fact that despite the fact that Magellan was killed by the Filipinos, still Spain sent series of expeditions apparently intending this time no longer not only to colonize the Spice Islands, but to settle in the Philippines after all. As you see, for example, in the case of the Duarte, of the Loaiza, the Saavedra, and in fact, of the Roy natin siya sa history, the Villalobos expedition carried the first batch of missionaries, Augustinian. They were going to begin the evangelization of the Philippines and of the Spice Islands if given the opportunity. But then, of course, they evangelized only one native here in the Philippines, a dying boy, I think that they had, because eventually they have to return to Spain. But the point is, it apparently showed tremendous influence on the Spaniards at the time, that the Philippines became a major target of the imperial appetite of the Spaniards, and that explains why 1565 eventually the colonization was accomplished.
Oh, yan. Wow. There's a question from our conference convener, the Vice President and Executive Director, Wensley Reyes, Dr. Wensley Reyes. He said, with the emergence of the discussion of Austronesian as the core cultural and linguistic group within Southeast Asia, can we reconsider the label Malay language as the language of Enrique? What are your thoughts? What did in your research, what do you think Enrique's language was? Was it Malay, Bahasa, or an Old Malay, or whatever?
Yeah, it's of course a very, very interesting question, siya, very controversial also. Based on the readings that I got and an analysis on the standard sources we have, Enrique was definitely speaking a particular Malay language. Whatever probably, whatever particular dialects in the Malay Filipino, it's not Sayan, but it's that speak Bisaya. In fact, it is already hinted even in the Pigafetta accounts that, apart from what we have always interpreted it as, that when Pigafetta says that Enrique was understood by the natives, we always assume that Enrique was speaking in Bisayan. But we fail to understand that these natives, a number of them, were actually familiar with the Malay world. They were traveling to various parts of Southeast Asia. In fact, as you have seen, the son of the chief of Manila was already occupying a major position in Brunei. In fact, one of the Sabandares, or the market supervisors as early as 1515. In Malacca was actually a member of the so-called of what Tony Perez referred to as Luzones, or member of Luzon people. They were traveling
Right.
there, so they could have acquired the language, just what we have also today. What when you speak American or Spanish, then you belong to the elite members of the society, and therefore they earn more respect if they can speak foreign languages the way we have it today. And that's probably you might say the perquisite of the aristocratic members of the native society to speak a Malay language, because it was apparently the lingua franca of Southeast Asia.
Wow. So, even when I was reading kasi, Ian Alfonso tasked me to write some articles as early as 2018, no, for the National Quincentennial Committee, and started to read all these Magellan books. And then I realized, people are always assuming that Enrique was understood by the natives. Apparently, Dr. Danny, and those who know, when he saw that people from Suluan, the first contact, they did not understand each other. In fact, that was the most remarkable thing about it, that they were given food, binigyan sila ng pagkain kahit hindi sila nagkaintindihan. But only if you're going to look, and very carefully, you will see this in the Pigafetta account. Pigafetta Enrique was only talking to the Datu families. So the Datu families, they're more educated, they know Malay. Because of course, di ba, they also came from the families, Malay families and all of that, to mga dugong bugaw na ito at that time. So I think that's one answer when I said, oh, he did not understand Bisaya. He did not understand the Waray. He was more looking at, sabi niya, lingua franca.
I think I just forgot. Yeah, there's one thing, and I would like to point out, as I failed to mention. Yeah. If you read the Pigafetta account, which apparently was never, which most of us are not familiar with. These are strange words, kata, raya, chita. And apparently Pigafetta translated that to mean that when the translator, the interpreter of Humabon, was talking to Humabon, he says, kata, raya, chita, and Peta understood it. Beware your people had been very violent. So it's more about cautionary phrase. But when I started, I was curious by that word. So I started looking at the early dictionaries written by the missionaries in the Philippines. And to my surprise, Xiao, the only word that seems to resemble the Filipino word was the kita, chita, or kita. But the other two, kata, raya, apparently it has no any word that resembles any dialects or languages in the Philippines. But when I examined a classical dictionary of the Malays, published in the early 19th century, the word kata or gata, raya, exists. And they seem to suggest this one word says plundering, the other word says I tremble. So in a way, if you construct this statement, it seems that I trembled in fear, but because the people might plunder us, might hurt us. That seems to be the idea of the kata, raya, chita mentioned by Pigafetta, indicating it was not Cebuano, it was not Bisan, but Malays.
Wow. So again, we have disabusing your minds, ladies and gentlemen, that Enrique de Malacca came from the Philippines. He was really maybe from Malacca or somewhere else there, but more or less he was Malay. Siguro, first of all, before I forget this, Dr. Danny, where can they get your book? Where is it available? Is it available online or certain bookstores in Manila, for example? Where can they order your book, Ferdinand Magellan?
Yeah, I think it's available at Solidaridad Bookstore, and they can also order it from us. They can only type Danny Herona in my Facebook, and they can access it through this show.
And of course, when they order from Mr. Danilo Herona, from Dr. Danny Herona, that means that they can also request autograph copy.
That's right, autograph, and I can make a sort of a statement for them. Sort of.
Yun, diba? So, yeah, I think it's also available with yung Savage Minds in Naga. So just contact them. Pero if you want an autograph copy, you can go directly to Sir Danny Herona. Okay, ganito po, no? Siguro I don't know if there's a comment from an anonymous attendee. He or she said, salamat po, maraming salamat po to our public historians, public intellectuals. Malaking bagay po ang pag-engage sa publiko, lalo na sa ating mga educators on the ground through radio, documentaries, columns, journalism, television lectures, or what we call vernacularization. Tama po yun, ano? Kasi sa totoo lang, there's a snub of some historians, and we cannot blame them because being a historian in itself, archival as it is, alam ni Sir Danny ito, is already very hard. You need total concentration, hindi lang yan about reading. At Sir Danny did not just know Spanish and Portuguese, but he also knew how to read the old scripts, no, na mahirap na basahin sa isang archival document. So when you do
Totoo
that,
yan siya, yung
that would all,
paleography.
di ba?
Yeah,
That would already consume your time. Di ba? So they don't have time to engage the public because engaging the public can also be stressful. So sometimes we take it on ourselves, si Sir Danny who can do it, and me, ako, I admittedly I know little Spanish. I understand it when I read some of it, but I know little. But I took it upon myself that the researches of Sir Danny, the new information from other historians, can be delivered to the common man. Ganon. And in a way, teachers like you are also engaged in public history in a way. Because you listen to Sir Danny, you will order his book, you read it, tapos ipapasa nyo sa mga estudyante nyo in such a way that they will understand. Yan ang kabayanihan na ginagawa natin kasi alam natin hindi yan madali. Kaya salamat sa inyo mga kaguro namin. Salamat sa mga members ng Philippine Historical Association. So, I guess paano ba ito? So, it's 10:58. So, mag-aano na po ako, no? I'm going to ayan. Sige. Okay. Sige po. So, siguro sir, wala na kasing tanong, wala nang mga comments. So I'm going to give the floor to you for siguro your final thoughts for this program, for this Kaagi documentary, and how important it is that we know about the first circumnavigation of the world and the Philippine party.
Yeah. We are not as historians. We are not only familiar with the past, but we are also foreseeing the trajectory of our history in the future. And definitely, this project will last for a long, long time as a legacy of the Filipinos, probably for the next 100 years of the celebration or the commemoration of the Magellan expedition in the Philippines. And this definitely is a major landmark and a major contribution in furthering our understanding or probably cementing the friendship between Spain and the Philippines legacy to the world, because of course without the Philippines this circumnavigation would not have been possible. And I think this is the greatest legacy of the Filipinos in the history not only of the Philippines, of Southeast Asia, but of the world in itself. And I think we should take pride of this.
Thank you, Sir Danny. And I think you explained very well also why I think the NQC chose Kaagi, the Philippines, and the first circumnavigation of the world. It was not, although Lapu-Lapu is there and a very big part of it, it was not about the victory at Mactan and Filipino nationalism. I think we want this documentary to be relevant to a wider audience. So wag kayong mag-alala na, they're betraying Filipino perspective kasi the Philippines and the first circumnavigation of the world. No, hindi po. Malinaw na malinaw sa ating documentary. In fact, hindi ko na diniscuss dito. Si Sir Danny, binanggit yung pangangayaw, yung pagpugot ng ulo ng mga ninuno natin to actually get the prestige and the power of that person that they, very yan, sinaunang bayan yan, pangangayaw, no? Yung unang mga bagani natin, mangangayaw sila, no? So, siguro, dito natin makikita na we want this film to be relevant to the world. Diba? We have a part in that great discovery, which is the quincentennial, which is the circumnavigation of the world, the great discovery of science. And parang yun yung lusot natin to penetrate the Filipino perspective, ibigay natin yung perspective natin sa mundo. Kasi kailangan may strategy ka rin eh. Hindi naman pwedeng nagmamatigas ka. So, yun. I think that, Sir Danny, thank you so much for your time. You know, we're honored kasi you were not in the schedule, di ba? Kinontak ka lang 2 days ago kasi biglaan lang tong pagpasok ng kaagi sa ating program. But I believe, Sir Danny, that you made the Philippine Historical Association conference with more, more, you added more prestige to it. Because a historian like you, an archival historian and a public historian at that, graced our conference. Sir Danny, mabuhay po kayo at maraming salamat. Thank you for what you do for our people. Mabuhay po kayo. Yun. Salamat po. Wow. Napanood po natin si Sir Danilo Herona, ang historiador na sumulat ng aklat tungkol kay Ferdinand Magellan. Please, you can contact him in his Facebook, Danny Herona or Danilo Herona. Mahanap nyo siya doon and you can order his book po. And magandang pagkunan ng ating information. Now, for some people who are still asking, why are we celebrating the quincentennial or why are we commemorating the quincentennial? Bakit po ba natin ginugunita ang quincentennial? Now, I would like to share to you the intended introduction to the Lapu-Lapu ang Dato ng Mactan musical last Sunday. It was intended to be an introduction, but there were already so many speeches, no, that were given before the play. So, ito pong ipapakita ko sa inyo. So, what they did is they put it in the end and they cut it. No? Pinaikli nila and they put it in the end. So, what I'm going to show you is the actual original cut of my statements. No? Of my statements in the Lapu-Lapu ang Dato ng Mactan. My annotation to the question, why are we commemorating the quincentennial? So, please bear with me as I show you this video of that introduction that I was supposed to give in the Lapu-Lapu ang Dato ng Mactan musical.
Shedding light on the significance of choosing the first Filipino hero as subject of this musical is a noted historian, academic, and television personality. Narito po si Professor Xiao Chua.
Makasaysayang araw, kaibigan. Ako po si Xiao Chua, isang public historian. Ano nga ba ang quincentennial o ang paggunita sa 500 taon ng pangyayari noong 1521? Ayon sa ilan, bakit pa ito pag-aaksayahan ng panahon? Ipinagdiriwang daw ba natin ang when Philippines was discovered by Magellan? Gayong may kultura na tayo noon at hindi tayo mga mangmang. Pinagdiriwang daw ba natin ang kolonyalismo at ang ating pagkasakop? Subalit, hindi may pagkakaila ang kahalagahan ng ekspedisyon ni Magellan sa world history dahil ang Armada de Maluco ang pinakaunang nai-record na nakaikot sa daigdig. Isang mahalagang tuklas para sa siyensya. Ngunit, hindi sana nangyari ang pag-ikot na ito dahil nangamatay na sila sa sakit at gutom. Kulang-kulang 100 araw na paglalakbay sa karagatang Pasipiko. Kulang sa malinis na tubig at walang matinong pagkain. Sa panahon ng kanilang matinding pangangailangan, napadpad sila sa Samar noong Marso 1521 at imbes na sila ang nakadiskubre sa atin, natagpuan sila ng ating mga ninuno na Lupaypay at Hapo. At dahil sanay sa pakikipagkalakalan at may pagpapahalaga sa pakikipagkapwa-tao, pinakain natin sila at ipinakita natin ang yaman ng ating kultura, pamumuhay at pakikipagkaibigan. Hindi ba't yan din ang diwa ng pakikipagkapwa na ipinakita natin sa ilang mga Hudyo, White Russians at Vietnamese boat people na nang manganib ang kanilang mga buhay ay pinatuloy natin sa ating bansa? Hindi ba't ito ang diwa na ipinapakita natin sa ating mga bisita? Ngunit, Nang makialam na ang mga dayuhan sa pamumuhay at kaayusan ng mga lipunan sa Cebu, tumindig si Lapu-Lapu, ang dato ng Mactan at ang kanyang bayan. Gamit ang kanilang strategiya, pagiging batikan sa sandata at pagkakaisa, nagtagumpay sila at napatay si Magellan. 4 na dekada pa ang lilipas nang bumalik ang mga Espanyol upang sakupin tayo. Ngunit, kahit na ganoon, ang tagumpay ni Lapu-Lapu ang naging inspirasyon at ibinandera ng kapwa mga propagandista at mapanghimagsik sa kanilang pagbaklas ng 333 taong kolonyalismo ng Espanya at pagluluwal ng ating bansa. Kaya naman, hindi ba dapat lang gunitain ang 500 taon dahil ito ay pagdiriwang kapwa ng tagumpay at pakikipagkapwa-tao ng ating mga ninuno? Ang victory and humanity na ito, ang mensahe natin sa mundo. Ang Pilipinas ay bayan ng magigiliw, ngunit sa manlulupig, di tayo pasisiil. Ang kwento na mapapanood ninyo ay kwento ukol sa nakaraan. 500 taon na ang nakalilipas. Subalit, salamin ito ng pagkataong nasa dugo natin na dapat maging inspirasyon natin sa pagharap sa malalaking hamon ng ating panahon. Ang pandemya at ang ating pagkakahati-hati. Paalala sa atin ito na sa ating pagkakaisa para sa tama at pakikipagkapwa-tao natin sa isa't isa, doon lamang tayo magtatagumpay.
Yun mga kaibigan. So, yun po ang that's my take. The summary, that's the summary of the quincentennial commemorations as envisioned by Filipino historians, of course the NQC. So, maraming salamat kasi what if hindi talaga pinursu ang commemoration na ito? Diba? Magagawa ba ang Kaagi? Magagawa ba ang Santo Niño documentary? Magagawa ba ang Philippine International Quincentennial Conference, ang pinakamalaking conference sa buong Pilipinas ever, na historical? Magagawa ba ang mga conferences ng Philippine Historical Association na nagpapahayag ng victory and humanity ng mga Pilipino? I mean, sabi nila, wag na nating pagtuunan ng pansin yan. Pero nung pinagtuunan natin ito ng pansin, ginawa natin ito tungkol sa Pilipino. Hindi tungkol kay Magellan at tungkol sa circumnavigation lamang. Kundi ito'y ginawa natin tungkol sa atin. Mas nakilala natin kung sino tayo. At salamat sa inyo, mga kaguro, mga kasapi ng Philippine Historical Association, sa lahat ng inyong ginagawa, sa mga kasama ko sa board. Salamat sa inyong mga ginagawa. Magkakapit-bisig tayo. Magkakasama tayo ngayon. Ngayon, mas kilala na natin ang ating sarili bilang mga Pilipino dahil sa quincentenaryo, dahil sa temang victory and humanity, ay mas magiging makulay, mayaman, at makabuluhan, may saysay ang ating pagtuturo ng kasaysayan sa kabataan at sa publiko. Sa kabila ng kadiliman ng pagbabuluktot sa kasaysayan at sa pagkakahati-hating binibigay na pag-away-awayin tayo ng mga makapangyarihan para sila'y maluklok lamang sa pwesto. Narito po tayo at pinapatatag ang ating loob. Pinapatatag natin ang isa't isa sa pamamagitan ng mga impormasyon na hindi pumapatay, kundi bumubuhay ng ating pagkatao. Kailangan natin ng liwanag na yan. At yung liwanag na yan ay dala ninyong mga guro at mga kasapi ng kapisanang pangkasaysayan ng Pilipinas. Luwid ka, mananalaysay sa iyong papel. Turuan mga kababayan na daigin, agam-agam sa sarili, dangal papagalabin. Gabayan bayan ng kabutihay landasin. Mabuhay, kapisanan, kasaysayan, Pilipinas. pasensya na po kayo, no? Hindi ko napigilan. Pasensya na po kayo. Okay. Sorry, I'm very sorry. Thank you po.